ourselves at all.
This is a presentation of OCA Media Sports.
The outside.
Madison United Rugby and OCA Media proudly present the 2021 Wisconsin High School Boys Rugby Championships. Today in the Division II Championship match, the Middleton Area Rugby Club takes on the DePere Red Dogs. We'll be right back with live game action from the Madison United Rugby Sports Complex, home of the Midwest's premier rugby sports complex.
For a place, a people, an idea, for right and freedom, for liberty and justice for all. For every square inch between fruited plains and spacious skies. Marines fight to win. See all the battles Marines fight to win at marines.com.
At TDS, we love connecting you to everything that makes up your happy place. Like her, and him, and them. Like video chats, video games, videos, live streamed concerts, digital fitness journeys, and deliveries. Oh, the deliveries. So keep on doing what you do. At TDS, we'll keep on doing what we do, providing internet that's faster, stronger, and more reliable. TDS, the best internet for all you do.
Funding for this program is made possible by TDS, the U.S. Marines, Clear Spring Research, the Milwaukee Rugby Club, and the families of Wayne Cutler and Jeremy Holliday. Additional support provided by One Community Bank, the Wisconsin Rugby Club, Madison Youth Flag Rugby, the UW Men's Rugby Club, LSM Chiropractic, the Wisconsin Rugby Referee Society, Ram Rugby, Hinkley Productions, and by the Ethos of Rugby.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 2021 Wisconsin State High School Boys Division II Championship match between the Middleton Area Rugby Club, Palm Beach Buffaloes, and the DePere Rugby Football Club. I'm Cody Guevara.
And I'm Chris Bauk, and we'll be bringing you today's exciting rugby action. We are live from the Madison United Rugby Complex, the premier rugby facility in the Midwest, and permanent home of the Wisconsin High School Boys Rugby Championships. Looks like the field's filled with the teams, and we're getting ready for some serious play here.
Looks like we had the coin toss there. We're trying to get some audio down to the field.
All right, so Middleton takes to begin the match. Go back and have fun.
Coaches kick off in 10 minutes. Rugby. All right, here we go. 2021 D2 State Championship High School Boys.
All right, that was your on-field announcer, Rich Bergman. Looks like we're set to have a beautiful rugby game.
Yeah, great weather out here. It's a little bit hot, so that's going to play a bit of a factor on these boys, but that's where the fitness really comes in, especially late in the season here. These guys have been out running a lot, and so hopefully that'll play in. And, in these championships games, it's often the team that is the most fit that comes out with a victory.
Now, Chris, I understand you've played high-level rugby before. What does it take on a day like today to really finish a game?
Well, it's going to take all 15 guys plus the 7 coming off the bench here. We want to make sure that you got everyone 1 through 15 and all the way up to your 23 coming off the bench and everyone working together. Rugby is the ultimate team sport. It's not like some of those other ones like fencing or swimming where you're off on your own. You really got to count on the guys next to you to make sure it gets done.
Our referee for today is Jeff Richmond.
It looks like the boys are just getting a few last pops in, trying to get those shoulders warmed up, making sure they're ready to come out hitting, start the first half here.
As much as you don't think you want to, it is important to practice tackling right before you're going to tackle somebody.
Absolutely. It's getting into that mindset. You know, it's you got to flip that switch and really be ready to start making contact. It's an aggressive game out there, and you don't want to be playing patty cake when you come out of the gates.
No, sir.
And it looks like DePere is going with more of a prep talk, and that can work for players as well. Just trying to get the calm mental attitude in there needed to really focus in these games, because that plays a big factor as well. Now, they will struggle a little bit. They have a lot of first-year players out there today. Only 4 or 5 guys have any previous experience with rugby before this year.
Right, and it says here that their starting prop and 9, which is the scrum half, are out on injury, both very crucial positions on the field. And only 4, yeah, like you said before, only 4 players have experienced this before. First-year players, it looks like they've done enough to get here.
Certainly, a lot of athleticism in these young guys could take you a long way, but that experience does make a big difference here. And certainly losing their 9, and Cody, you've had a lot of experience playing the 9, or what we would call the scrum half, and that's certainly an important position on the field, is it not?
Correct. You have to have full confidence in your abilities, and you have to control the pace of the game, something that's got to be very difficult to do at that early level of rugby. I've only started being really good later on in life. So it's all about experience at the 9 position. So hopefully that their backup 9 can come through for them.
Yep, and it looks like that's Trent Perzer is going to be stepping up. He's got a few years of experience under his belt there, so hopefully that'll play a big factor here. Look for him. He'll typically be the one pulling the ball out of the big pile, which we would call a ruck or a scrum, and passing it back to the fast backs lined up wide here.
Looks like both teams are running through some plays. We have Middleton running through some set pieces here. They're practicing a scrum down, which is, that is DePere. Got confused in the jerseys. It looks like Middleton area rugby has new jerseys today. Haven't seen them before.
Looking sharp in the pink with the yellow socks. Definitely going to be standing out there today on the field. I think that'll hopefully give them a little mental edge. Sometimes, you know, they say you look good and you play good. So I'm certainly hoping that strategy plays off, and we'll see. You know, DePere's looking good in their candy stripe red and white as well. Pretty sharp looks from both teams here.
They're both running some unopposed rugby. It's running through your plays without opposition. Just a chance to get some plays down, get comfortable, get your hands going, get your feet going, work with your team.
Yep, and those hands are so important. Unlike other sports where you drop the ball and play continues, in rugby it's called a knock-on if the ball hits your hands and falls forward, and that ends in a restart or the scrum where the other team gets a chance to start with the ball here. So it makes a big difference to be able to hold on to the ball and catch all those that are coming your way.
Yeah, Chris and myself will attempt to do a good job at explaining some of the rules for maybe some of our first-time viewers of rugby.
Certainly, and you know, a lot of these players are coming out. High school rugby is a great entryway into the sport, and a lot of these kids will continue on through college and men's clubs after this, but a lot of them get their start, as I did, in the Wisconsin State Rugby high school divisions here.
Yes, we've come a long way. Before all these, before this match today, we had middle school championships. We had the girls and boys championships. We've come a long way since I started playing rugby.
Certainly, and it's a success of the Wisconsin Rugby Sports Complex that we're at today. One of the best fields and setups in the Midwest with our brand new clubhouse that we're speaking from here. And it's really a destination for rugby fans and players alike to come out and test it out in front of the loyal fans that are out here. And so, again, a lot of these parents are watching some of their first rugby games, so we'll try to coach you along here and give you some tips and know what to look for, and hopefully explain some of the rules here. It can be a little daunting the first time, but it is generally a pretty simple game of getting up and down the field.
Yes, absolutely. And for those of you that could not make it here today, I highly recommend when you get a chance to check out this facility. It is an amazing facility that was just finished this year, 2021, and it's the premier Midwest facility for rugby.
Yeah, a lot of clubs out there are trying to do similar to what the Madison United Rugby Foundation has done to build this type of facility. You know, in years past, a lot of teams were forced to play on soccer fields or football fields, kind of whatever space was available, as rugby has often been considered a bit of a fringe sport in the United States, but it's really catching on. We're seeing huge growth, and that's really displayed with the middle schoolers and the high schoolers out here today getting their first licks on the rugby field.
Looks like we also have a fair going on today as well. The Cottage Grove Firemen's Fair or
Festival, I believe.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, both are fun, but a lot going on here today. They got a new splash pad as well as the Field of Dreams, an accessible baseball park out here at the next door Bakken Park. So certainly a lot going on. A great place to have your family out to watch a rugby game. And as well as some other distractions for those who can't sit still in the stands all day.
Right, and here in the facility now we have full functioning locker rooms with showers. I mean, these kids have got to be really excited to maybe have their first taste of some sort of semi-pro level facilities.
Certainly. I mean, I know from my experience that was a rarity. You know, we'd often take a lot of long bus rides home smelling pretty fresh.
Oh, I remember changing with a towel wrapped around you in the middle of everybody. It's much different for these kids,
yeah,
and I'm excited for them.
Especially when there's a municipal soccer game next door. The ones who aren't quite up to speed with the rugby culture, it's a little awkward in those situations. So they'll certainly appreciate coming out of the locker rooms. It's a great energy builder and booster, and really gets them mentally there to be able to kind of rush forth out of the field, out of the tunnel in front of their fans here.
Looks like the teams are having their last final words as a unit before they leave it to the players. Another thing that I love about rugby is once you're on the field, the players are really responsible for the gameplay.
That's absolutely right. You know, a lot of people compare rugby to football. There are some similarities to the game, similar oval-shaped ball. But a lot of those differences really drop off. In football, you can run in plays and there's constant stoppages, whereas rugby is a continuous moving game where the ball is almost always in play with very little stoppages. So there's a much higher need for fitness out there, as well as the players kind of relying on their own instincts. And so, the coaches, they work them in practice, but once they get on the field, they're up there on their own. They might get a little peek at halftime, and that's about it. So it looks like we're getting set.
Switching sides of the field here.
A little shuffling around, so looks like DePere was a little more set, so they'll take one last warm-up jog down the field and get set here. Looks like Middleton will be kicking off to the south. Now the game begins with a drop kick, and so the player who's starting it off will actually have to bounce the ball off the ground and kick it from there, or rather than as you would in football, where the ball is set on the ground. And it does have to go 10 meters. You'll see that hashed line on either side of the 50-meter line. And that is the distance that ball needs to cover before anyone can play it on the Middleton team.
Well, I'm excited here. Here we go.
Here we go. Championship rugby. And the boot. And it's a long one, deep into DePere's territory. Looks like they're going to have it out.
They bring it out of the 22. That's a nice shifty move there by their 10.
Last foot, Pete, last foot.
Noah.
All right. And so what you see there when they pile up, after the tackle is made, the player has to immediately play the ball once he's brought down to ground. And the teams will try to contest over the top of that for control of the ball, and that's what we would call a ruck. So again, the tackle, and you'll see the players coming in to support and secure. And in the back there is the scrum half pulling the ball out of the ruck and passing it back to his players. Again, that is Trent Purser, who is stepping up into that position after their starter was injured earlier this season.
Now again with the ruck, once the ruck is established, you can see how the Middleton Area Rugby Club has to stay on this invisible line before they can advance.
Yep, and that is the offsides line. So if they get caught running up ahead of that before the ball is brought back out of the ruck, it will result in a penalty, and they'll get a free kick from that spot. So you'll see the defense having to retreat constantly after every tackle is made to get back beyond that imaginary line.
The tackling looks clean today.
Yep, and they're really doing a good job securing that ruck, but they're not able to make much distance here. Middleton's playing really tough defense. DePere's managed to hold on and maintain possession of the ball. And Middleton up in their face. Great by Gen Nagamatsu coming up. And they're really driving them back now. They were holding on for a moment there, but once you get buried deep in your territory, it gets really difficult to get something going on offense.
Right, this is a crucial part of the game, too. You really want to start off with a bang. Let the other team know you're here to play 80 minutes of rugby.
Yeah, and in this instance, I'd say Middleton's really bringing it to them and setting the tone so far. But DePere's trying to get it out wide here, use a little bit more of that space. It's a much wider field than a football field than you'll see, so they got a lot of room to run side to side, although there are 15 guys on the field compared to American football's 11.
Okay, so we have a straight arm penalty.
So it looks like he was diving over was the call there. So when the players come in to secure that ruck, they must keep their feet. It is a safety issue for the players rather than diving over. Which was the penalty called there. So Middleton will get a free kick here, and they can do a number of things. They could quick tap it off his foot and run with it, but in this case, he's going to try to kick it out of bounds where they'll get a line out and be able to restart from there. And
it looks like he did not make it.
Yes, he did not make the sideline, or what we would call the touch line in rugby. Instead, it went out of the back of the field, or the try zone, as we would call it, similar to American football's end zone. So Similar shape of the field there, but a little different nomenclature we use in the rugby terms here.
So either 22 or scrum or it was kicked.
And DePere will have a couple options here. They can go to a scrum, and I believe that is the choice they are going to make here. So this is where the numbers 1 through 8 on the team get together, and they form a pack together using all their collective strength. And it's very much like a hockey face-off with 8 on 8 instead. And the player on the other team will get to put the ball down the middle, and it does have to go straight down the middle to keep it even. But there's a bit of an advantage to being the one to put that in.
Correct. Set pieces are very crucial to the sport. A lot of tries come from the set pieces, and it's your chance to really put the pressure on the other team offensively.
And you can see they're contesting and pushing back, but it looks like DePere was able to keep them back and hold on, but great pressure, crushing hit by Quinn Armstrong there. Excellent play. Middleton really doing a ferocious job on defense here. But DePere's hanging on. Great ruck there to clean that out. And more powerful running through a couple tackles there. All right, now they're getting a little bit more on the front foot here. They're getting some meters here and picking up some pace on Middleton. So maybe that initial shock that they were against.
He's going to have a run.
Uh-oh, and it's one-on-one. Great move against the fullback there, the last man to beat, but he's got one more coming in hot on him. Let's see if he can make the tackle. Great effort, but not enough.
We have our first try of the game by our fly half, Noah Champman.
Beautiful running out there. And so in rugby, he does have to touch the ball physically down instead of just crossing that end zone. So sometimes you'll even see players cross that line and get tackled or lose the ball, and they will not score in that situation. So it is very important to be able to get the ball onto the ground in the try zone there, which was marvelously done there.
So, Chris, can you explain what's going to happen after the kick, exactly where he touched that ball down in the try zone?
So similar to American football, you do get another chance to score after putting it into the other team's try zone or end zone. In this case, there is a little bit of a wrinkle here, whereas in American football, it's a set spot where you would kick for 1 extra point. In rugby, you have to kick straight back from the point where the ball was touched down. So it does give you extra incentive to run the ball as close to the middle of the try zone as possible to give an easier kick. And it looks like we were a little bit off, so it is a difficult kick, and that did go wide there. But in rugby, that extra point is worth 2 extra points. So it is a big difference maker, and oftentimes in these championship games, it can come down to who's able to make those conversions after their tries, because it can really stack up quickly when you're scoring 2 points at a go.
Now, it looks like Mark Rugby was slow to set their defense up and was exploited for that. They left a lot of gaps that weren't being taken advantage of until that last play.
Now, another difference between rugby and American football is after you score, the other team actually kicks it back to you, so you continue to retain possession. So it can get very frustrating when you're constantly giving the ball back over to the other team when you're being scored on. So DePere will get that extra chance to come back in. And it looks like that may have been a knock, so you saw that the ball hit him in the hands and it bounced forward there. Again, if it went backwards, the play would continue, but because it went forwards in this case, we will have a scrum down. Again, that is when the 8 players on each team, we would call those the forwards, usually the bigger, stronger of the guys on either team come together and push that, but it's not always that way. Sometimes there are players playing out of their body type.
Oh, absolutely. So what's going on currently is there is a blood sub. If you are bleeding, you get a free substitution. Otherwise, when you're substituted, you can't come back in. So referee stopped the clock. There's a blood sub. The player that had come off the field does have an opportunity to get back on the field once he has got the blood clogged.
And so it's great today. They got some medical attention on the side of the field there. They'll help him out, patch him up, and hopefully we'll see him back on the field there.
Absolutely.
And that's a very important part in these games where once you're on the field and you come off, typically you're not able to come back on again.
Let's see what Mark can do with the ball.
All right, Middleton's going to take it wide, and right now they're running it to their back. So those are the faster, speedier players.
We had the first kick of the game.
We call that a grubber when he lays it nice and low across the ground there. There's a lot of kicks they can use, and they can do that throughout the play. There's up and unders where they kick it high up to themselves and hopefully run under it and catch it. They can do long clearance kicks to get it out of their zone, similar to a punt in football. In that case, he tried to keep it low on the ground so he could run up on it and hopefully get a score, but it looks like it was knocked out there.
Not sure what the call was there.
Well, it looks like it may be a 22.
22, okay, so the ball went into the try zone and then was touched by, touchdown by DePere.
So similar to a touchback where they did not bring it into the try zone, but they were the ones to control it and touch it down. And now from behind that.
Well, it looks like it was a. Oh, we'll see what's going on here. Okay, so no, it's right. There was a drop kick.
So on a 22, you get the chance to restart from anywhere behind the 22-meter line. And in that case, it does have to be a drop kick. So you'll see on certain penalties, they'll just tap it off their foot. In this case, he does have to drop it off the ground and kick it from there, similar to the restarts after a score at the beginning of each half.
Correct.
And so the Middleton team does have to stand behind the 22, but they can get right up to that line. And usually they'll have a couple of their tall guys get right in his face and try to dissuade him from kicking it right straight ahead. And it looks like he's going to keep it pretty close to the line. He's got some guys out wide.
22.
Right.
Ref says play on.
Oh, and he's going to take it quick right off of the ruck. So it doesn't need to be passed out. Sometimes you'll see guys, when they get an opportunity, they'll try to snatch it and run right up the field. And we did gain a couple meters there for DePere in that case. All right, keeping it close to the rucks there, running it right down their throats rather than trying to spin it out wide here. Playing a lot of what we'd call smash mouth rugby.
Right, it's nice when you have oversized
Ooh,
guys.
Crushing hit there.
Number
I believe that was
13.
Mason Carter really laying the wood and getting some serious meters after the fact.
We have a marked player down.
All right, and
Kicking it to space, very useful.
So now Middleton will play in their own territory. Good coverage by the fullback, but DePere's wing was right on him there. I believe that's Evan Crone. Great speed shown by him there to get down and really pin Middleton back in their territory. Now this is a really tough place to play when you're being pushed back within your own 22.
Right, usually the strategy is to kick it out of your territory.
Yeah, often they'll try to clear it out, get it back into DePere's area, and really try to give themselves a little bit more breathing room. But they're running it pretty tight here, trying to give it a little more space. Often they'll run a couple quick ones up to give the kicker a little more room and be able to kick it out. All right, looks like we'll take a brief break for a man down, and the ref will stop the clock here. Typically the clock does not stop any other time except for at the ref's bidding there. So anytime we're doing a scrum or the ball goes out of bounds, play continues, the clock keeps running, and that'll go all the way up to 40 minutes for each half.
Trying to see who the player is on the ground there for Mark. When I say Mark, that is Madison Area Rugby Club. Or, excuse me, Middleton Area Rugby Club.
And that is an amalgam of a few different schools coming together to form a club. So not all these guys go to school together, but they can form some great friendships with guys that they normally wouldn't cross with, all over the love of rugby. So it's really great that a number of teams across the state are able to do that and put together teams when they otherwise may not have the numbers to do so.
Right. The Mark Rugby Middleton Area Rugby Club is comprised of Edgewood, Middleton, James Madison Memorial, and it looks here they have a kid from Mount Horeb.
Yeah, a little bit of a drive there, but all for the love of rugby. I've seen guys travel great distances to have access to teams there.
Looks like Middleton Area Rugby Club is having a hard time sustaining defense. They need to find rhythm and consistency and get in. It's very important to be set up on defense right away.
Correct. They're getting some good individual efforts, good pops there, but it really, again, comes down to that team effort. Defense is a 15-man game. Everyone needs to contribute. A single gap there or a chink in that chain can allow somebody to go through and make that score. So it's important that you have all 15 guys working together on defense. So hopefully Middleton will tighten it up a little bit and be able to start pushing back again on DePere. They came out really strong, and they just need to keep that energy up.
Looks like the clock will be back on, and we'll start play with a scrum down.
Looks like Middleton will be the ones putting it in. Again, that gives them a slight advantage on this. They get to have a little bit more timing as far as when that ball goes in. He still has to put it straight down what we would call the tunnel between the two opposing packs.
They have a good clearance kick, and it will find touch.
And again, touch is what we would call the out of bounds line. And what we'll have now is our first line out of the game. Now, again, the two opposing teams will get together on either side of that, the space where the line judge there is holding up his flag. And typically, the position, the number 2, what we would call the hooker, who in the scrums is the one to hook the ball back with his feet, is also the one who throws the ball in. And you'll see the two teams lining up against each other, and this is one of the more exciting parts of rugby, where we'll see the line-out lift. Now he will have to throw it straight down the tunnel between the two packs. But again, there's an advantage to being the ones throwing it. You get to time it and time the distance as well, and hopefully catch your jumpers in the air here. So again, a very exciting part of rugby when we see the players fly up. So hold on to your butts, folks.
Looks like he's holding on to a butt there.
There we are. Yep, you got to really get in there to launch your guys up. And you certainly get friendly with your teammates there. There's a lot of close contact both with the opposing team and your own teammates. Great running there by the lock from DePere.
Caleb McAvoy, excuse me.
Ooh. Tough tackle there by the Middleton 3. That's Harvey Bailey. Great job. Ooh. And a good fend. That's the equivalent of a stiff arm there.
We have a knock-on. We have an advantage.
So yeah, again, since the knock-on came from DePere, play will continue at least. So we won't stop there because Middleton has the ball back and they have a bit of an advantage. So the ref will let the play continue for a bit, and hopefully Middleton can make something happen. In this case, he decided to blow his whistle since they were getting driven back, and will come back to that penalty.
Correct. If you don't take advantage of your advantage, he comes back to the penalty.
Looks like that was an offsides call. So again, that imaginary line formed after the tackle. Looks like DePere may have been creeping in on that, and he did catch him on that. So they'll certainly have to work a little harder to get back on defense and avoid those penalties, which can be really costly. So in this case, looks like he's gonna try to find touch and kick it out of bounds, giving his team a line out from that location.
Looks like it'll stay in for DePere.
All right, yeah, just needed a little more leg on that one. Gives DePere a chance to counterattack there. And they're back on the front foot here. Good hard running downfield there.
Now you see how DePere, when they come into contact, their legs are constantly moving, fighting through those tackles.
Yeah, you want to really churn through there, and that's how you get those extra meters and really, again, force the team to continue to retreat on defense. It's very hard to play defense when you're constantly backpedaling. Beautiful running there I believe that's Noah Champion again. The fly half, which is similar to a quarterback. He's really the one, often the best passer and kicker on the team, the one who kind of starts the offense and guides the backs around the field.
Touch by red. Line up to pink.
Looks like it was out of bounds. They're not quite sure who it went off of.
So DePere took the ball into touch. So Middleton's throw in.
If you're not in the lineout, you're on the line or behind.
Once again, that's
your back
referee Jeff Richmond.
Yep, just getting a little more space for his guys. Anybody not involved in the lineout does have to stand 10 meters back. Gives them a little bit more room to work. And this is where they'll try their pet plays here. It looks like Middleton gets it unchallenged. Again, Nagamatsu, hard running downfield. Great pickup there.
Once again, keeps his legs churning.
That's what you want to see from those big boys out there, really driving their teams downfield. And it's really tough when you got those big guys coming at you who are running hard like that. But a great counterattack here by DePere, slicing through the lines. And it does take a couple guys to bring him down. Mason Carter, some more great running out of him. DePere's really driving it downfield here. Let's see if they're able to convert, but it looks like we'll have a penalty.
Now, Chris, what do you think for a bunch of first-year players? They look pretty together.
Absolutely, that goes down to coaching and practice, and then they're really on their front foot. Certainly not showing a ton of nerves here for a championship game, which is often tough, especially for first-year players. So it's very impressive stuff by the DePere rugby team.
Looks like we have another penalty. Middleton will try to get it out.
And I believe that was not rolling away. So after the tackle, you must clear out to allow room to both play the ball and to make room for the ruckers coming over. And it looks like one of the DePere players did not do that, covered up the ball and prevented Middleton from being able to contest. So they gave away a penalty there. And so we've seen a few of those from DePere, so that may cost them, definitely losing a scoring opportunity there.
This is a game of possession, Chris. You never want to give the ball away.
Oh, certainly not. And when you're on knocking on the door of Middleton's try zone there, that would have been a great opportunity to go up by another try there. Right now we're still within one score with DePere with just the 5 points from the one try scored so far today.
Middleton playing good rugby on their end of the field.
All right. Good lift, but DePere continues to put on some serious pressure. Making it really tough for Middleton to get anything going here.
Last foot, red.
It's hard to get the game started sometimes, Chris.
Absolutely. And now they're playing in their try zone and a tough kick out.
Let's see what we have here.
It looks like it may be a penalty going to DePere here. I'm not sure what the call was.
We'll listen to
Red penalty here. So Pink went behind his player such that Red could not make an attempt at a tackle. Obstruction, penalty here to Red.
All right, so the call there was obstruction. And so unlike football, there is no blocking. So running behind your own player while you're carrying the ball prevents the tackler from getting in there. And so Middleton with a costly mistake as DePere is able to capitalize.
Yes, that is Caden Becker.
So great job by DePere there to take that penalty back, so you can see how much of a difference that penalties can make in this game. So that really shows where the discipline comes in with these players, which is often tough with so many first-year players out there.
And Chris, in your experience, does it get harder to stay disciplined when it is hot and you are tired?
Oh, certainly. It's a mental game at that point, and the more you're sweating, the more you're breathing heavy, especially on these hot days. You start to get lazy, start making mistakes. And you can see how costly that can be. So DePere now up 10-0 and hoping to make it 12-0 with 2 extra. Looks like that's Caden Becker.
Yep, he's got double duties today as the kicker and the try scorer.
And he puts it right through. Great kick from him, a little bit off center there. So not the easiest kick in the world, but it's better than being out in the sideline there. So again, always a good advantage to run that ball towards the middle of the field where possible, but certainly that can be difficult.
Well, if these are a bunch of first-year players, I imagine we'll be seeing these kids again soon.
I hope so. Certainly playing in one of these games can build a lot of love for it as well. You see that passion out there. Now Middleton will again restart the ball with a drop kick and hope to regain possession and get back at them.
Now, you always want to catch those in the air, Chris.
Oh, absolutely. If it's fumbling around in that backfield, it makes it tough to get an offense going. Again, great running by Mason Carter there, the 13, or what we would call the outside center. Often one of the stronger runners on the team typically you would put in that position, so he's certainly showing that today.
Correct. Your good centers are going to have a combination of size and speed.
Absolutely, and you'll see teams play around with that with the other center, the number 12, or often called the inside center. There's different skill sets that can fill in there, and so different teams will try different things and different personnel in there. But typically some of the better runners and the faster guys on the field will be filling in those 2 jerseys on either team.
Trent has it out.
Oh, turnover. And Middleton will get a chance to counterattack, but it looks like they gave it away. May have been a forward pass there. That stopped it, but a penalty before that. Oh, or knock on rather. So again, somebody from DePere lost the ball forward, so we'll go down to a scrum here.
Not sure who it was for Middleton, but they made a great tackle on that, causing the ball to come out of their 8-man, Connor's hands.
And he's just a sophomore, but really playing like a man out there amongst a lot of other seniors. So one of the younger guys on the field today. So the
Middleton's put in.
The opposing packs will prepare for a scrum. A lot of force generated between that with 16 bodies all pushing against each other.
Yeah, you don't want to be in between there.
It's definitely a tough spot, especially for the hooker. And that's the guy, the number 2 jersey, who is kind of in the middle of everything. He's held up between the 2 props. Those are the 1 and 3 jerseys. So he bears a lot of that brunt. And
Correct.
he also has the duty of hooking the ball back to his team.
Right, he uses his one of his feet to hook that ball back, which is why they call him the hooker.
Yep. And looks like he did just that there. Middleton's able to retain possession. Great hit! DePere really putting the pressure on, but Middleton's able to get it upfield. Trying to work it out wide. He's got to be careful to keep it in. And DePere does a great defensive effort there.
Yes, that is unfortunate for Middleton. You never want to take your own ball out of bounds.
Certainly, we often coach to step back inside, and it's always better to get tackled inbounds versus trying to make that extra move and take it out of bounds where you give the other team possession.
Once again, possession is such a crucial part of this game. If the other team doesn't touch the ball, they can't score.
Absolutely. So you'll see teams start to take control there. And so Middleton's really got to get something going here. They've had some spurts out there, but need a little bit more consistency as DePere's really putting the pressure on. And they'll take it out of the line out there. Oh, caught a little flat-footed there, but
looks like the referee has advantage going.
So
might have been for offsides.
And he's pointing back towards DePere, which means the penalty was committed by Middleton. But they'll get a chance to run it out here. They don't want to give up their momentum there. Some great work out wide. Nice stepping through the middle of the field. Let's see if he's able to get rid of it, and he does. Great stuff by DePere. Oh, and now Middleton will actually get a penalty committed by DePere. Looks like, again, it was a diving over penalty. That is when a player does not keep their feet when they're trying to secure that ruck.
Yeah, the referee is really trying to point that one out today. If you do not have control coming in through that ruck, they will call the penalty.
And a big part of that is the safety of the players. We really are trying to the rugby rules are constantly evolving to do just that and keep these players safe out there. It's a long cry from the games of old. If you look back at the 70s, it was much rougher formation of the sport there.
It didn't even look like they had a referee in some of those games.
Oh, no, more like a brawl. That kind of, I think, gave rugby some of the reputation it has today, where today it's a very clean and organized game played by tremendous athletes, whereas back in the day, there was a little bit of a rougher reputation there of a controlled brawl, I would say. All right, good fight in the ruck there.
That's Guerme taking the ball up.
All right. Oh, pressure on, but it looks like
offsides.
Yep.
The DePere, the defense cannot attack until that ball comes out of the back of the ruck. They were a little early and got the penalty because of it.
So again, costly mistakes by DePere. It's giving Middleton a chance to get back on that front foot, and they're going to go for territory here, again kicking it downfield and out of bounds to have another line out. And now they're well into the territory of DePere, inside their 22-meter line.
Let's see what Middleton draws up now that they're inside DePere's 22-meter line.
And hopefully building a little bit of confidence here to get back and put some points on the board here. You certainly don't want to be down this early in the game. It's going to be a lot to come back from. So we want to start chipping away at that lead. Oop, and it looks like they went to their back jumper there, mixing things up a little bit and catching DePere off guard.
Not sure if that was on purpose or not.
Yeah, sometimes those slip through.
When you hear the referee say last foot, that means he wants the defense to take a step back behind the last foot of the ruck.
Again, that's to avoid that offsides penalty, which has bitten both teams a couple times today.
DePere looking really hungry on defense. You can see as soon as that ball comes out, all their players come and attack Middleton.
Yeah, and definitely putting the pressure on after that mistake. An errant pass there put the ball to ground, and now Middleton's going to have to fight to retain their possession there.
Let's see what we have here.
All right, looks like they'll get another chance. So lucky break from Middleton here. Penalty, or a scrum rather.
Seeing some hands on some hips out here, Chris.
Oh yeah, they're definitely feeling the heat. It is hot in the 80s today with a clear sky, so that sun is really beating down. You can see how dry the field is. We haven't had a lot of rain here in Madison over the last couple weeks, so it certainly plays a big factor out there, especially in these games where you're playing against another tough fit team.
Yeah, and when it hasn't rained for a while, the ground gets very hard. So when these tackles go down, it's not the same as the nice cushy grass that you might think.
Oh yeah, some of those get pretty scraped up on that grass. It's not always as nice as it looks. Ooh,
oh, great hands.
Manages to hang on. Little cheeky kick through. Let's see if he can finish. And not sure if he put it down. All right. And
the referee will take time on the clock. He's going to talk to his line judge.
And so he does have the help out there. It's mostly the referee or the sir in the middle there, but he does have the help of two line judges on the sides. And it looks like they confirmed it is a try. So great work by Middleton there. I believe that was Mason Butner. Great cheeky kick down the middle and is able to chase it down and get Middleton a little bit of momentum here. Hopefully they can do something with it.
Middleton staying in the game. It's good to see a team not get too distracted by a couple tries early on in the game.
Yeah, great response from them. Hopefully they'll be able to turn that around and continue to close that gap there. It looks like we got Guillerme Dakpa. It's going to be their kicker here. And now he's wearing that 6 jersey. That's not typically the person you see taking those kicks.
No, typically it's your fly half, but in this circumstance, it's your best kicker.
Yep, we'll take whoever can put it between the posts. So an unusual one, but we'll see how he does. And it looks like he takes it a little bit wide there. So Middleton is going to stay at 5 points to DePere's 12. So chipping away at that lead, but a little bit more work to do there.
Looks like we're going to take time for a water break. A new thing to rugby. Once again, evolving the game to be safer. If it's a hot day like today and it's you want to keep everybody safe, they will actually take a break in the middle of the half in order to hydrate everybody.
Yeah, and it certainly plays a big factor. We want to make sure that guys are staying hydrated and avoiding any kind of heat stroke out there, especially as they're working so hard out there. It really makes a big difference, and they'll take this quick break, confer with their coaches, see what they're doing well, see what's working for them, and hopefully make those adjustments. So it gives them a good opportunity to make some changes where typically you would only get that opportunity at half.
So far, Chris, for DePere, who do you like out there?
Well, the 13, and that's Mason or rather that's Mason Carter, doing some great downhill running, really keeping his legs moving, keeping the pressure on them. And the number 10, the fly half, Noah Champion, excellent job running the offense, really getting his guys going, making great runs and being dangerous to attract that defense, but able to pass the ball off and sucking a couple guys before he does that so they can get some speed downhill. And just across the board, excellent defense by DePere, making some great hits, but they are giving up penalties. In this case, Middleton was able to capitalize on some of those, so they'll have to tighten that up if they want to maintain the lead here. But some great stuff by Middleton as well.
Right, they're 8-man. Patrick McDonald playing great, consistent rugby on attack and defense. And also their 13 who just scored, Mason Butner, showing his skills on the field. I think I'd want to get him the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like he had some great speed, great pace, as we would say, while he was chasing down that ball to score that try, and definitely showing those skills, being able to kick the ball there. Now, he is a soccer player, and he's new to rugby, but we often see that translate very well. The soccer players, often compared to football, see the movement of rugby a little bit more naturally, and he's showing those soccer skills there with that kick through. And certainly, hopefully he sticks with it here. It looks like he's thinking about playing for the University of Wisconsin here in town, and they would definitely use him there very well with that skill set.
Well, that's a great opportunity for recruitment today here in Madison then.
Absolutely. I'm sure the coaches for UW are taking a good look down there and picking out some names and seeing some guys and hopefully having some conversations.
Yes, we are currently it's just a water break today. Once again, it's for the safety of the players. They do this at all levels of rugby, except for maybe international.
Yeah,
I think they play through.
And it's typically only on these hot days where it's more of a concern to keep the players hydrated.
Okay, we are going to pitch to a break right now, and we will be back when the action starts.
This is a presentation of OCA Media Sports.
For a place, a people, an idea, for right and freedom, for liberty and justice for all, for every square inch between fruited plains and spacious skies. Marines fight to win. See all the battles Marines fight to win at marines.com.
At TDS, we love connecting you to everything that makes up your happy place. Like her, and him, and them. Like video chats, video games, videos, live streamed concerts, digital fitness journeys, and deliveries. Oh, the deliveries. So keep on doing what you do. At TDS, we'll keep on doing what we do, providing internet that's faster, stronger, and more reliable. TDS, the best internet for all you do.
Funding for this program is made possible by TDS, the U.S. Marines, Clear Spring Research, the Milwaukee Rugby Club, and the families of Wayne Cutler and Jeremy Holliday. Additional support provided by One Community Bank, the Wisconsin Rugby Club, Madison Youth Flag Rugby, the UW Men's Rugby Club, LSM Chiropractic, the Wisconsin Rugby Referee Society, Ram Rugby, Hinkley Productions, and by the Ethos of Rugby.
Teron Cooper. Jack Nielsen. Jack Cashler.
Hey, let's get a round of applause for these
All
guys.
righty, here. Looks like we're doing the
Well
award
played.
ceremony for the third place team here.
Now, we had a little mix-up here, Chris. I'm sorry about that, viewers.
Yeah, it's a bit of an adjustment from what we're used to. Typically, again, a rugby game would be 2 40-minute halves. In high school, it's a little bit different, actually 2 30-minute halves, so a bit shorter a game than we're typically used to playing. So I'd say, especially in this heat, I would certainly have some days out there where I would have loved to have only played 30 minutes.
Well, there's a couple times that we've been out there and tried to agree with the other team to cut it down to 20-minute halves.
Certainly a bit of negotiating. Often during these conditions, the other team is amenable to taking a little bit of a break from the half there. So instead of a water break there, it really was just the halftime. So we'll go on the second half here. Again, 30 minutes. We'll try to remember that on our end.
So the teams will switch halves at halftime. DePere will be on our left, Middleton Area Rugby Club on our right.
Now, there's not a huge wind out here today, so it's not going to make a ton of difference on there, but there's a bit of a breeze now in DePere's favor.
Last call, 50,
so a kickoff down. It looks like it goes a little bit deep over Harvey Bailey's head and out of bounds.
That is unfortunate. You got to catch that ball in the air.
Absolutely, and so I think part of that was Middleton was a little bit out of position. Harvey really shouldn't have to be backpedaling in that. You'd hope that there would be somebody coming up from behind him to secure that ball. So a little bit of a pattern weakness, I would say there. Hopefully they'll tighten up that for future.
Everybody wants to take a step back so that you can come on to the ball. It's much easier to catch it coming onto the ball rather than backing up.
Yeah, absolutely. That over-the-shoulder catch when it's high in the air like that, very difficult, especially on a sunny day like today.
Here with the line out.
Looks like they're able to maintain, and now they're going to go into a maul, and they're able to break free. Well, but he is tackled out of bounds. Middleton will get another chance though. So lucky break from Middleton, good defense there.
So right before that ball came out, you said maul. Could you explain to the viewers what the maul is?
So the maul is when the player is not brought to ground, but he does have players coming from either side who continue to add to it. So it kind of looks like a big tussle, that dirt ball with arms and fists coming out, but it's actually a lot more controlled than it looks as teams try to drive downfield while keeping their feet. So another unique part of rugby there.
Often misrepresented on the football field as a ruck.
Absolutely, yeah. The football announcers often like to co-opt some of those terms. The scrum on the field, you'll often hear is a common term misused. There's a lot more control in the rugby version of the scrum compared to what the football announcers would call it on the field.
Michael Brenton, the 10 for Mark Rugby, showing great hands.
It looks like it was a offload, got away from him a little bit. It's very difficult to try to pass it to your teammate there while you're being tackled. But great teams are able to do that very well, and it gives a great advantage to allow them to continue the attack. But in this case, Middleton avoids the knock-on as it seems there was an earlier penalty that they were playing advantage on.
Looks like the referee wants to have a chat.
All right, and he'll bring in Mason Carter there, their hard-running 13, to
also
let them
their
know
captain.
what's going on. So this is often the case. Typically in rugby, only the captain is allowed to talk to the sir. The sir will often give a warning if players talk back. Respect is a big part of this game, and so you'll see them bring in the player in question, and they'll talk to both him and his captain to hopefully fix that issue.
So the penalty there was in the tackle. The tackler has to attempt to wrap the person with the ball. If there is no attempt to wrap or just a shoulder charge, it is an immediate penalty. It's something not taken lightly here in this sport, which is why he had a little talking to.
Certainly, it's a safety issue. Again, you don't want guys running at each other like torpedoes and just dropping that shoulder. It's a controlled tackle where he's trying to wrap up and bring the guy to the ground rather than just being a battering ram. So again, it shows you that these are very skilled players who are playing under control. What sometimes at first glance seems to be kind of a wild mess if you've never watched rugby before, but safety is absolutely crucial here to these players, and the rest will continue to try to enforce that. Looks like there was an issue with the line out there. Not sure what the call was, but it looks like it is against Middleton. An infraction during the line out, it appears, so they're going to have a free kick here.
You can punt it, you can tap it.
And so they will not want to kick this one out of bounds as they would not retain possession in that case. So I'm guessing that he's going to do a quick tap, pass it back to one of his hard runners, and get them going upfield here. And he does just that, gives it to the hooker. Oh, crushing hit there. Oh, but another penalty.
Well, that's rugby, ladies and gentlemen.
And another quick tap. Mason's going to bring it up. Great initiative from there, trying to seize on that advantage as Middleton was retreating. Every time there is a penalty, the team that committed the infraction does have to retreat 10 meters. But as soon as he kicks that ball, if he goes for that quick tap option, they're able to run up. And a big high boot here, bounces in the try zone. Looks like DePere is going to be a little bit far away there. So good work by the Middleton fullback there, that's Jack Madigan, to control that ball, touch it down, and that again will bring it back. They'll be able to have a drop kick out at the 22-meter line. So great heads-up play there by Middleton. But I like the idea of that kick, trying to make something happen, being really creative with the play there.
Let's listen into the referee here. He's got some explanation.
Hollering over hard tackles. I can't have that, right? It just generates bad sportsmanship and begets some violence. So settle your teams down, play rugby, play safely, good sportsmanship. All right, thank you.
So talks to both captains there. It looks like some of the players were getting a little rowdy and celebrating after some of those hard hits you'd see out there, and he's dissuading on that. Rugby is all about sportsmanship and really trying to foster teams coming together and playing hard against each other, but really kind of in the spirit of the game, not gloating and doing that sort of thing when those hard tackles happen.
It's a nice hard run here by their 8-man. Patrick McDonald, I believe.
He's been doing a great job today running downhill that way.
Good communication.
All right, Middleton's showing some good energy here. They look like they got a little bit more pop back in their step. Joe McNerney running downhill. That's their big lock. Oh,
we have an advantage.
Looks like Mason Carter was getting his hands in there a bit. I'm guessing once you become part of the ruck, you're actually not able to compete for the ball. As soon as you get your shoulders in there and start contesting over the top of the ruck, you're not able to pick it out. Somebody else has to come behind you, and that's typically the scrum half's job, although you will see other players on the field doing that role as needed if the scrum half is taken up otherwhere. Let's see, it looks like another obstruction.
You got to talk your trainer first.
Or perhaps this is a blood sub. So time is off as we look. Looks like we have trainers coming on the field as well as the coaches to check out the big lock there. That's Joe McNerney. Might have gotten a little bit of a pop there as he made that big run into the pile of DePere players.
Okay.
So we'll just take a minute again, focusing on safety for these players here. These are young guys, and we want to make sure we keep them safe and give them nice long careers in rugby.
Well, yeah, but he said he got it in the head, so I want to make sure he gets.
So for the DePere Red Dogs, we have Tim Hughes as our head coach, Eric Radu as their forwards coach, and Aiden Farrell as their backline coach. And for the Middleton Area Rugby Club, we have Matt Bremser as their head coach, Paul Strady, Gary Uselman, and a whole plethora of other area people helping out with the Middleton Area Rugby Club.
Yeah, and that Middleton Area Club's got a great history. The current head coach, Matt Bremser, was one of the original players on that team, playing under the assistant coach, Paul Strady. And now they've kind of switched roles over more recent years, with Matt taking up that helm and really leading the team. But Paul Strady, a colossal figure in the Madison rugby community, still very involved with that Middleton team, and one of the favorites of the fans and the players around here. Many of the players on the club teams and the college teams have played under Paul Strady, and so a great guy to be out there with.
If you couldn't hear the Sir's cadence for the scrum, it's touch, bind, set.
And that gives that timing.
Excuse me, crouch, bind, set. Yes, it's a cadence for both teams to come in. Once again, everything is based on safety. So it's safety for both teams to come in under control at the same time. Looks like we have a turnover here.
Middleton responding well on defense, although they're looking like they're getting a little bit bunched up and kind of getting into the middle of the field. Often you'll see that as teams get tired. Oh, and again,
taking it quick
Carter.
is Caden.
Great job from him. He's really putting a lot of pep in this offense, really running downhill and doing a lot for the DePere team, really getting them going. So great play by him. And good running there by the 8-man, Connor Horth. And DePere has a bit of an opportunity here. It looks like Middleton's a little bunched up on defense, so hopefully they'll take advantage. And again, a lucky break for Middleton with a penalty here.
Now you usually want to see your guys running north and south, they call it. Running sideways on the field doesn't help your teammates because everybody else is already in that position ready to receive that ball if you're going to pass it to them.
Absolutely, yeah. You want to get upfield, make that cut up, and then start looking for your passes. A lot of great runners on these teams, but I think we could see a little bit more passing and spacing things out, particularly on the Middleton side. Looks like their inside backs are bunching up a little bit on offense, looking for that crash ball, trying to take it right into the defense. But I think if they spread things out a little bit, use that wide field and space, and got the ball out to their fast players, they might have a little bit more success, particularly guys like Mason Butner. We've seen what he could do with that speed on those outside positions. So we want to continue to try to get the ball into those hands of those playmakers who can really move things around here.
I'm not sure what it was for, but we have a yellow card. Did not see who came off of the field. Number 23.
And so it could have been a repeated infractions or a single incident there, but with a yellow card, the player does have to sit out of the game for 10 minutes, which makes a huge difference when you're only playing a 30-minute half. That's going to be a big disadvantage for DePere, playing now with only 14 guys for the next 10 minutes. So, great opportunity again for Middleton to now has the penalty advantage to try to do something and make something happen here. Getting the ball into hands of guys like Patrick McDonald, their 8-man who's been running great all day, as well as guys like Mason Butner, again, showing great speed and a little bit of trickiness with that kick game we saw earlier. So hopefully they'll be able to capitalize on this, and DePere is certainly going to be looking to tighten up on defense. It's very difficult when you're playing down a man, especially in these hot conditions where you're already tired, to really respond to that. So it's going to be some great mental toughness that they're going to need to show here.
It looks like we have number 10 for Middleton Area Rugby Club, Michael Brenton, coming off. He's got a little limp to him, and let's see who might be playing his position now.
Yeah, and that's certainly going to hurt him. Often that 10 position or the fly half is kind of the director on offense. So that may hurt Middleton here, but again, they're playing against 14 guys, so we'll see what they're able to do. Again, this is where that mental toughness comes in these late season games as guys drop out. Things happen, and it's all about how you respond to those.
That's the reason you got 23 guys.
Yep, and you'll see the best teams, it's not just this first 15, it's all the way to that 23 guys who are putting on the jerseys. We often call them impact subs, and that can make a huge difference on the game if you have fresh legs coming in who are really able to make a difference out there. Oh, and he chests the ball. Mason Butner again getting tricky. I think that's some of those soccer skills coming into play there. I think I would have used my hands in that case. He might have had a little chance to run that up, but that's definitely a new one to see today. Sometimes you got to flip your switch if you're used to playing a different sport.
The knock-on by Pink.
And they do call that a knock-on. Looks like the sir or the ref believes it did bounce off his arm a bit there. Looked all chest to me. Looks like he really threw that one out there. But
well,
again,
like you said before, you just put your hands on it.
Yeah, that's use your mitts. It's a great part about rugby compared to soccer is you both get to kick and pass. All the limbs involved here. So again, down to the scrum after the knock-on.
Five. Six. Support.
It does look like Mason Butner there, who committed the knock-on, has moved into that 10 position, filling in for the injured player, Michael Brenton. We'll see what he's able to do, guiding that offense.
Beautiful pass out to the wing.
Oh, DePere's going to have a chance here. Some good speed, but he is brought down. Good response by Middleton there, but showing you what you can do if you're really using the whole field and getting it out wide, as many good teams will do. A lot of this game has been really tight, close in, hard-nosed smash-mouth rugby. But I think the team that's going to come away with this is the one who's going to be able to figure out how to get that ball out to their fast players on the outside.
A lot of the breakaways have been coming from the outside lines.
Again, great passing by Noah Champion, doing a great job to direct that defense. Oh, great effort there by the fullback, Jack Madigan. Slows him up enough to get his players through. And it's tremendously difficult to make that last-ditch tackle when you're all by yourself. So showing some great skill there.
You know a little bit about that, Chris, don't you?
Well, I've made a couple tackles in my day, but, you know.
I can remember one tackle that was a couple tackles in one tackle.
Well, you know, that's one may live in infamy. I don't know if I'd do it out here today. These young bucks definitely have some fresh legs. I don't know if I'd quite be able to keep up. Oh, and Middleton comes away with it. Great job to snatch it away, and they'll get it out to their wing. They're going to have a great opportunity here. We'll see what kind of running he can do. And it's actually Quinn Armstrong, their number 7, the flanker, running up the field. Tremendous effort. Oh, and he's going to make a break for it. DePere's got one last chance and doesn't quite make it. You'll see him running into the middle of the field to give an easy kick. Excellent play by Quinn Armstrong there.
What an amazing individual effort there.
That was excellent, but he got the setup there. They were able to steal that way down in the pack, kind of in the muck. You kind of miss out on some of those plays that make that happen. Some of those guys in there really in the trenches working it out, getting the ball out to their fast players, and excellent running there by the flanker, Quinn Armstrong. Puts his team back in the game, and they're going to get a chance to tie this up. You saw how Quinn was able to run it back into the middle of the field to make for an easier kick. If he would have touched it on the outside, a much more difficult kick to put through. So hopefully they'll be able to tie it up here. And again, Mason Butner now filling in at that fly half position where he started out in the outside center, is going to take the kick, again, using those soccer skills.
Once again, it goes to show you the importance of using that ball and getting it outside. Getting around the players, getting around the defense. And if you have someone with speed like Quinn, he can take it all the way in.
Yeah, get him the ball. Get those speed guys the ball. That's the name of the game here today. And see who's still got the legs when we're playing in this hot field.
Looks like the conversion is good.
Excellent kick in there. And a lot of these guys come from different sports backgrounds, and that can bring a number of different skill sets to these games. In this case, kicking plays a huge part, so we'll see soccer players making a real wave for themselves to get onto the field. Some guys can make a spot on the field just for being able to kick through. And again, a great view of Quinn there, touching it down between the posts.
He looked happy there.
Oh, I would be too. It's a great effort there.
Getting a try in a championship game is something he'll remember for the rest of his life.
Oh, certainly, certainly. Now let's see. It's 12-12 now, so the game is all tied up, and we're getting late into the second half. It's really going to show now who has that mental toughness to respond late in the game here. And I think, you know, the fact that DePere's playing down a player certainly could have made a difference. So great job from Middleton for capitalizing on that yellow card penalty. Oh, a little messy down there in the ruck. Looks like it was knocked forward again by Middleton.
We have a rugby game here, Chris.
Oh, we certainly do. This is what you want to see. Sometimes these championship games can be a little lopsided, but what the fans and players really want to see is a hard-fought, evenly matched, tough game.
Speaking of the fans, we actually have a great fan base here today. Everybody's very positive. Everybody's very happy to be out watching rugby again. I mean, I'm excited up here.
Absolutely. After a long time off, a lot of these players, you know, certainly in the high school level, you know, maybe their first year, and coming off of COVID, where rugby was shut down for over a full year. Certainly very excited to be back out here and showing what they can do with the boots back on out in the sun.
Once again, that cadence from the referee is crouch, bind, set.
Gives a little bit of control, so they're coming in a controlled manner, because again, it's a lot of force being generated between those two packs. 8 guys on either side pushing against each other. So to keep that under control makes a huge difference for the safety of the players, especially the ones up front, the props and the hookers in that front row, putting their heads right up against each other.
Now, this is where we might have been seeing a little bit of the inexperience with DePere. Their consistency has fallen off just a bit. We'll see who can come out in the end here. It's really going to be it's going to be tough to pull through right now. Both teams seem hungry.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the wire. And again, DePere playing down a man, that certainly makes a difference. It can be very demoralizing. So we'll see how they snap back. And it looks like a penalty off of the scrum there. We go to Middleton.
It'll be a free kick, different than a full penalty.
In a full penalty, he would have been able to kick it out of bounds for territory. But in this case, they're just going to take it on a quick tap and getting it to the big man there, running downfield.
Let's see if they use the space.
I believe that was...
Oh, that is a high tackle. I think the referee will have a little talking to him there. Looks like he showed a little bit of good sportsmanship, though. Sometimes, from experience, it is a little tough to get into control sometimes, especially when you're tired. It is important to still get low in your tackles.
Certainly. In rugby, it's required to make sure the tackle is below the shoulders. Again, protecting the neck and the head of the players on the team.
Let's see what the referee says.
So he's going to have a little chat, and I'm wondering if he's going to go to his pocket here for a yellow card. That's typically the case. It's usually an automatic yellow card in that, really punishing players for that unsafe play. Sometimes it's not even intentional. Again, it gets difficult when you're tired. But that's going to make a big difference, losing the big 8-man there. Connor Horth, again, that big sophomore who's made a good impact today. And now DePere down to 13 men. Huge factor here, and that's really going to hurt him down the stretch here in such a tight game. And Middleton rearranging a bit. Looks like they're going to get it to their big man again. That's CJ Green coming in off the bench as an impact player, but oh, they trick it around a bit. Give it to Joe McNerney. Get some good meters there, and now here comes CJ. Now he is a big, strong kid.
Now, it looks like Harvey Bailey, their prop, is playing scrum half. Not a common thing to see.
No, certainly not. You don't usually see a guy with that size and skill set playing back there, but that shows you some of these big guys are tremendously skilled as well.
Good contact there, nice good contact.
All right, Middleton doing a good job to secure the ruck there. Oh! And Harvey does a great job to absorb that tackle and get the ball back out to his guys. And so you're seeing a little bit of the prop tendency there. He wants to take it right off the scrum rather than pass it out and run downhill.
Your scrum half needs to be a distributor.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when he's playing that prop position, he's able to get up and run right at the bad guys. But in this case, you really want him getting the ball out and, again, trying to get it wide here. They've had some success with that already, and they want to continue to get it into their fast guys' hands out on the wide side of the field. So now we're going to go for another quick tap, I'm guessing. Time is off here. I'm wondering if it's an injury concern here. Perhaps some blood on the field.
Usually blood if the referee's coming to look at it.
So the players take a little bit of break here. Hopefully they'll be able to kind of center themselves, and it looks like he is going to come off.
Well, it makes sense that Harvey Bailey might be playing the 9 position. He's also their captain.
Yep, and he's a 4-year player. A lot of these guys, again, are first or second-year players, so that shows a lot of experience. And he's played it all in the pack. He's a skilled player who's done a number of different positions. He's even played for the Badger select sides for 2 years. That's one of the premier high school teams in the state. So one of the better players you'll see out here. And he's even hoping to play for the local men's team. That'd be the Wisconsin Rugby Club. And I'm sure you'd be happy to see him out there, Cody.
Well, as a very old, current, local Wisconsin Rugby Club member, I would love to see any of these kids come out.
Yep, a lot of heart, a lot of skill, and a lot of raw talent that we'd certainly like to continue to mold and develop these players into long rugby careers. And let's see if they go to their big man again. All right.
Goes to their prop again.
It looks like he was lost forward there, so DePere a chance to respond. A bit hampered by their 13-man attack here, but they may still be able to do something with that. I've certainly seen teams even still be able to score with 2 men out of the game here, but it is certainly difficult and a rarity.
Noah Champion for DePere, playing great rugby on offense and defense. Still, he looks like he's got good fitness. We'll see if he can will his team to a victory here. A lot of communication on his end. One of the most important things, I'd say, on this rugby field.
Yeah, certainly. You see the best players out there are usually the ones talking the most. You got to know where your guys are on the field, and communication is key. You can't do this alone. So the more those guys are talking, you'll see that on the best teams, is constant communication, and it often leads to success out on the field. All right, we'll have another scrum down here to DePere. And it looks like they're, since DePere is down a man, they're missing their 8-man. That's that last guy on the scrum. So Middleton forced to remove one. So it's now a 7 versus 7 scrum as opposed to the typical 8 versus 8.
I'm not sure if that's a high school level rule or not, but they don't do that at any other level.
Oh, great running here. And again, Noah Champion showing some speed, trying to work on the outside there, and I think he should continue to try to do so, and hopefully they'll have some success that way. But I think the outside is going to be the key to this game, whoever can get it wide.
We have an offsides penalty here.
And Noah another chance, and he's going to go quick. And Middleton slow to respond on that. Again, they can come up from that 10-meter retreat as soon as that ball hits his foot. And it looks like they were caught a little off guard there. Again, maybe experience or just the fitness there could be affecting that. And Mason Carter showing that running ability, the big 13. Downfield, and great tackle there. That's Jack Madigan again, saving Middleton with a tremendous last-ditch tackle.
Wow, what an effort.
And that's the second time I believe he's done that today. And again, in a close game like that, 1 or 2 tackles can make all the difference. And that just shows you how key a fullback is out there on the field.
Is that a little plug for yourself there?
Well, I've stepped back into that 15 jersey a few times in my day. But you don't want to be caught out and miss that tackle either. I've definitely been in that situation as well. And it's not fun when you got all eyes on you. You can't hide behind anything. So excellent play by Jack Madigan, responding under the pressure to make that huge tackle, because that very easily could have been the try of the game at this point. We're getting down to those last few minutes, and he great job there to save his team and give him another opportunity to take this game away with a win.
Well, not only does he make the tackle, he causes the turnover and the penalty.
Yeah, and now Middleton will have a chance to attack, although they have a very bunched up line here. And we'll see what they do. It looks like it went off the hands of C.J. Green there, so we'll have a knock. Again, I think they need to get a little bit more spacing out there, take their guys wider, and try to work those edges, especially when you're playing against a team that's down 2 guys. It gets much more difficult for them to cover the entire width of the field when you're missing those 2 bodies.
A lot of green grass out there, or brown, to be running up and down this field, and they are just tending to stay right down the middle.
Yeah, very physical game there, but again, I want them to use a little bit more space, use those passing hands, maybe even put a kick that we saw earlier by Mason Butner to put a little more DePere on their back foot and kick it into their territory. But perhaps late in this game they want to retain the possession, make sure the ball is in their hands so they can have say over who gets the ball and who's scoring. Oh.
Coming in on the weak side is Noah. Great cut up field by their 14, Evan.
Oh. All right, another off his feet there. Again, that's
taking a quick tap is Noah.
Penalty today.
Noah looking like he might be the fittest one on the DePere team.
Yeah, and he's giving a lot of pop to the DePere offense. I think he's really trying to drive. I think he knows it's crunch time here and trying to give his team a leg up on that.
Looks like DePere has space on the outside.
Oh, and they'll give it to their wing. Another great tackle there by Jack Madigan. Saves his team again.
Wow, where is he playing rugby next year?
Certainly, we'd like to see him wherever we could get him. Again, that 15, that's your sweeper, your last man, your free safety. And he's really saving his team there. Tremendous individual effort. And great job. I mean, that's 2 or 3 tackles could thrust you into player of the game for that very reason.
Middleton showing a lot of heart here in their end of the field.
Yeah, it's, in these high-pressure situations, I would say nothing is more difficult in sport than playing defense on a goal line stand in rugby.
Looks like we have another advantage.
And tough defense around the fringes of the ruck here. And this is the last effort. This is the end of the season. This is where it all hangs out. These guys got nothing left to save for, so they got to give everything they got in this instance.
Yeah, we are in the 59th minute of this match, so this could come down to it right here, folks.
Oh, no. A penalty again.
Now, on this penalty, they could elect to kick for post, which would give them 3 points.
And I think I would risk it in this case. But it looks like they're going to try to run it.
Yep.
And they get it a little wide. They get it to their big man. Oh, he stumbles through. 3 Middleton defenders managed to hold him up. Let's see if he was able to touch that down.
What's the referee's call?
Looks like he's going to go to his side judge and confer. And they call it try. Huge effort. And DePere, that may be it.
Was that Patrick July Jr. there?
Great running by the big man there, the junior, and it's his first year playing. I'd say that'll probably bring him back next year. The excitement of scoring a game-winning try in the state tournament.
Well, you'd hope so, Chris.
Oh, but again, just shows you how costly those penalties can be down the pipe. But great effort by DePere to respond. 2 men down, and some tough penalties there as well. And they'll get a chance at a kick still. Put a little bit more space between them.
Now, even though it says 60 minutes on the scoreboard, the penalty, the referee has stopped his watch several times during the match, so he is actually keeping the correct time.
Yep, it all comes down to him. He is the arbiter there of time and how much is left. So it looks like there is a bit left in the game. Middleton might get one last chance, but again, they have to kick the ball to DePere. So DePere really in this situation, all they have to do is retain possession. And I believe they may have just gotten one of their guys back, so I think they're up to a 14 again. Short kick there, crosses the 10-meter line. Middleton's going to have to find a way to get that ball back.
Yeah, they're going to be looking for a turnover ball here.
And DePere, I would say they were going to want to play slow, tight, and everything is about just holding on to possession of the ball. Yep, and there's their big 8-man who stepped off earlier. Connor Horth, great running by him, keeping Middleton on their back foot. And you can see how many guys they're throwing in the ruck here. Everything is about maintaining possession.
You really want to shore up that ruck and make sure that you're not going to give it to the opposing team. Just like that.
CJ Green with the steal, and that shows you Middleton with a huge turnover there. Looks like some of their players aren't responding. They got to get on the front foot and go, go, go now. Great effort down the pipe. And a penalty there. Looks like he came into the side of the ruck. So when the ruck is formed, you have to come straight over from your side. And in this case, one of the DePere players came in from the side. Costly penalty, gives Middleton some more room. Oh, and a kick from Mason. But he gives possession back. That's a tough one. He kicked it right to the fullback there. I think I would have tried to retain possession this late in the game. Now DePere gets another chance because of that.
Not sure how much time's left on the referee's clock, but DePere might want to get that ball into touch.
Certainly another penalty here. It looks like a high tackle. Oh, and they go for a quick tap. Strong running there. Oh, and he gets around the fullback, Jack Madigan. That hasn't happened yet today. And Noah Champion wants to dot in his own and just makes it across and leaves no doubt there.
I think that might have just solidified the win there, Chris.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I don't think they're going to have time to do anything. I don't even know if there is time left. So great effort there. they certainly were given the gas late in the game. Typically, you'll see teams try to kick it out and end it there. It's a little bit of a riskier maneuver, but hey, if you get the last try in a championship game, that's a pretty good feeling there. Noah's been playing great all day today, and so I think he deserves a try there.
I think Noah was looking for a try today, too.
Yeah, those best players and, down the pipe, he was really driving the offense there, really giving the initiative to his DePere team and getting them on the front foot despite being down players. Great effort by him, especially in a championship game. And he's showing that experience. He's got a couple years. I think this is his second year on the field.
Caden Becker with the conversion.
And that just shows you, again, how that experience can make a difference.
Looks like there is still time on the clock and still hope for Middleton.
Yeah, it's slim at this chance, but, crazy things do happen in rugby games. But they're going to have to find a way to get that ball back. They did have a chance with a turnover from CJ Green, but they gave it up pretty quickly there due to a penalty.
Once again, why you don't kick the ball away at the end of the game here. You really want to maintain possession, and we've talked about that before, how possession is such an important part of this game.
Well, 9/10 of the law, they say, and in rugby, I'd say it's even more important. And so the kick, and often you'll see teams try to put that restart kick very high to give their players a chance on it. That one went a little deep and shallow, and not quite enough. So with that, that is the game.
And DePere Red Dogs are your Division II boys Wisconsin State High School champions.
And tremendous effort from them, especially with all the going down 2 players in the second half, allowing Middleton to tie it up. But I got to give it out to the Middleton guys. There's some great play by all the guys out there. Mason Butner with some great running, cheeky kicking, and Jack Madigan, I'd say has to be Middleton's player of the game. Kept him into it in the end with 3 spectacular try-saving tackles, but unfortunately it's just not enough. DePere was able to respond and continue to put the pressure on and get that last try, and then a bonus try as well to leave no doubt there. But excellent effort by both teams. You really got to give it out to these kids, and Middleton should be keeping their heads high. They got nothing to be ashamed from. Excellent effort there, but DePere gets the victory, and it's going to be a tough one for Middleton to swallow, I think.
Another great thing about this sport is the sportsmanship itself. You can see here as the teams slap hands, say good job, hang out afterwards, have a chat.
Yep, typically you'll see what's rugby called the social, where teams actually get together and have a soda and hang out and enjoy each other's company, because it is this special community in the rugby world. It is a bit unique in sports in that sense, where if you see a rugby player out in the world, no matter who they play for, you got a friend there right away. And so they're circling up here. I'm sure all these guys are absolutely fried after running around for 60 minutes in the hot sun. And they'll take another look here and give it up to the fans. And some celebration there by the DePere rugby team. And they certainly earned it there. Tough win to end the season. Great job, boys. So on behalf of the production crew at OCA Media, thank you for watching. This has been an OCA Media sports production.
I'm Cody Guevara.
And I'm Chris Bauk.
Thanks for watching us.
For a place, a people, an idea, for right and freedom, for liberty and justice for all, for every square inch between fruited plains and spacious skies. Marines fight to win. See all the battles Marines fight to win at marines.com.
At TDS, we love connecting you to everything that makes up your happy place. Like her, and him, and them. Like video chats, video games, videos, live streamed concerts, digital fitness journeys, and deliveries. Oh, the deliveries. So keep on doing what you do. At TDS, we'll keep on doing what we do, providing internet that's faster, stronger, and more reliable. TDS, the best internet for all you do.
Funding for this program is made possible by TDS, the U.S. Marines, Clear Spring Research, the Milwaukee Rugby Club, and the families of Wayne Cutler and Jeremy Holliday. Additional support provided by One Community Bank, the Wisconsin Rugby Club, Madison Youth Flag Rugby, the UW Men's Rugby Club, LSM Chiropractic, the Wisconsin Rugby Referee Society, Ram Rugby, Hinckley Productions, and by the Ethos of Rugby.
captain announcer, you get awarded the ribbons if you like. Harvey Bailey. CJ Green. Jack Madigan. Cam Barker.
Benjamin Eason. Hayden Pere. He's not grown. Andrew Koziar.
Brett Cranky.
Pass it on.
Gen? It's Gen Nagamatsu.
Name's Adu Melendez. Joe McNerney. Michael Brenton.
Nathan Steinhofer.
Quinn Armstrong. Gilbert Akpo. Mason Butner. Lucas Miller.
Alex LaCour.
Aiden Cole. Jack Yoseman. Zolan Walker. The one and only Patrick McDonald. Gary Uselman. Liam Jason.
Paul Strady.
Tyler Wisnap.
Noah Clark.
Coach number 4.
Thank everyone to show up. I'm Matt Bremser.
Ladies and gentlemen, Middleton area, Palm Beach, Buffaloes! Give them a hand. And from Northeast Wisconsin, our 2021 state high school champions, the DePere Rugby Club. And who's your captain? You are? All right, good job keeping the team together. All right, we'll pass this down.
Mason Carter.
Evan Crone. Trent Perzer.
Austin Van Aram. Noah Champion. Caden Becker. Connor Hurd.
Adam Jarowski.
Brody Upton. Patrick July.
Kavion Schrader. E-Mac. Keon Schrader.
Bailey Zimdars.
Joey Prock.
Kale McAvoy. Owen Hyder. Chance Theba. Melvin Rondo. Sam Peterson.
Scott Sir Marcello.
Preston Ellinger.
Coach Sean Simon.
Eric Radu. Luke Matsky. Matt Peterson. Aiden Farrell. Tim Hughes.
We'd like to thank the Ethos of Wisconsin, the Ethos of Rugby for sponsoring all the trophies and medals for all